Hello, hello. It's been CZ. Sup world, sup Zion. Well, before we get to the slides, uh, we begin here. Alright. So this is the new effort now. Alright. The new effort. Alright, and that new effort is going to be under the banner of Christianity. Alright. And it's really adulterous to say the least, right? And they have a whole motto: all of Christ for all of life, right? It resembles that familiar motto we talked about here a long time ago from the Q phenomenon, right? That whole operation to pacify, right? By justifying madness as some sort of, I don't know, 4D chess move or something. But in reality, it's the same old play, right? And it is basically a fulfillment of a fantasy, right? This is what it is leading to, right? That's why it is idolatry, right? It's not based in truth, but rather based in desire, human desire, for what they expect, I don't know, Christ to be like in this case, you know? And of course, they position themselves really close to world leaders. Even here in Africa, I've seen them in action. And brothers, they are really good, right? Because I think they are really, or rather extremely great at being passive aggressive, right? But yeah, I'm just here to give you a heads up, right? And to tell you how this train is gonna end where, right? It's all about your fantasy, and this is not about your fantasies or your desires and whatnot. No, this is about truth, right? And the fragility thereof, which has been shown to exist and to be prevalent in society today. So let's get to the slides. How did this whole situation turn into a humiliation? This is why I keep saying, like, these people are playing with people's lives, you know. Same with these ones, right? They're literally and proactively protecting criminals, right? That's why I told you this whole system will come down clambering if the armed forces of the world, I don't know, grow a spine or something. Because this is embarrassing. It is. It is. And we are going to see this so-called, I don't know, compliance or following orders, you know. Like I said, it's not going to fly. It's not gonna fly, right? And push has come to shove, right? And this is where we are. And the situation is extremely delicate, right? And if you wanna insist on pushing people over the edge, I don't know, for the sake of your jobs or anything else like that, then I don't know. Hmm? I thought they had the best lawyers over there and all of that, right? The elites and all of that. Look at that, 400%. 400%. Of course, this Roblox situation is framed as some sort of, I don't know, revolution or something like that, but it's getting darker by the day, right? And if so, then you should ask yourself, this is the justification they need to do whatever they are doing, right? And you attacking that same justification prior to them using it as said justification is a big problem. You're ruining the app, the operation, right? Right. This is what I believe is happening here, right? They have let the whole thing fester, and it's almost like a joke right now, right? The measures they're taking and all of this. But again, they did the same thing with the files, right? They can't keep their hands off the cookie jar, you know. They cannot keep their hands. One point they're using Kenya, maybe now they're using Blackwater. Why? Just because a couple weeks ago they were running an op about the Russian core, Russian African core, Wagner out, Russian African core in. You know, those were the headlines. Again, the same techniques the Europeans, or rather the European leaders use. After that, they felt like they could issue an ultimatum to Iran or something, right? And now this is the same thing, right? They said if there's an African call for, I don't know, Wagner or Russia or whatever in Africa, then there's proper now justification that now Africans should not resist, right? Because look, the Russians are doing the same thing. Not only you don't have uranium from the Sahel, but now you have, this is just a perfect storm, you know? Again, playing with people's lives, right? If these people are this obsessed with that supposed prize, what would they do? You know, that's the question that I'm trying to pose out here. Like, would they sabotage a proper cause just because they are not actively involved in it? Would they sabotage it for their own benefit, to soothe their, I don't know, pride or ego or anything of sort? It's diabolical, yeah. But again, know thy enemy. Somebody should be looking into this. So that whole Roblox situation, yeah, it's a op. And how that op unfolds, that's how your rights are gonna be folded and, I don't know, put into a vault or something. We are waiting and we are waiting to see. This is that noose that people are not paying attention, right? It's tying it down, right? Tying it down. That's what they're doing, keeping people distracted. Communication is key, right? Communication is key. Yeah, I forgot about the two last situations here, cameras and fiber optic, right? Fiber optic is quite easy. I believe our nation, Tanzania, has reached a point where we need to propagate this fiber, right? This router situation is not working out so well. It's not so reliable. So a push is needed. And as far as I know, you're producing fiber cables here in Tanzania. So a serious push is needed, right? And for the price, per month, make it cheaper or something, right? I am quite sure you'll sell a lot of units, right? You'll sell a lot of units, right? If you go over there in Kariakoo, when you visit, walk around, you'll see a lot of these things all over the place, right? And they're highly inefficient, right? They're highly inefficient. Now we have come to know. And the throttling, as it nears its end, has also been identified. It's a whole phenomenon. Countries, I have seen videos from Nigeria, others from Kenya, saying the same situation. Right? So that whole talk about Mkongo wa Taifa and TTCL and that and all of this, yeah, this is where like the money is at. Roll it out, right? Don't be all strategic and fearful and all of this. Just be open. Right? The issue that I see is that people don't even know such a service exists. That's number one. Number two, they think it's expensive, as in part the infrastructure, right? They make a coalition with the electricity supply and all of this and what it requires and all that, right? And of course, information about the bundles, right? So hand in hand with the laying of the infrastructure, right? I've seen the first phases, but it has been silent for a while, right? Hand in hand, inform people about how much your services cost, a proper understanding of the technology, right? And yeah, right? Tanzania is evolving, right? Tanzania is evolving, right? I'm really glad I was born in a time where the tech evolution was like gaining momentum, right? And I see like the country is changing, right? How people utilize technology and all of this, right? Africa in general is changing. And at the center of that whole change is connectivity, right? Connectivity. So yeah, and when it comes to cameras, right? I think it was related to that US veteran guy. There was a clip walking around Gaza and this guy met this kid and he gave him some stuff and the kid was so glad and kissed his hand and it was a whole moment. Right? And later on come to find out that apparently that kid was sniped. Right? right? That kid was sniped. And I was asking myself, how did they even find him? Right? I think there needs to be an operation over there to blind this beast with whatever means necessary. Right? These contractors like Microsoft, which are hosting the supposed AI for face recognition, yeah, they'll be dealt with in other ways. But over there in the field, yeah, start with the cameras, right? Start with the cameras, right? They might be throwing out false information with the complicity of the media, and we are taking note, right? The last strike, they strike a whole tall building, right? It was, and the spin was, it was the headquarters of Hamas. Are you kidding me? No, it wasn't. But again, I want them to really ponder and think and look and behold what they did will be done to them. That's very important for you to remember. So there was this case here, right? So for you who don't know, last time I hinted that there was a coup, right? And the media, of course, took that story and ran with it and also put a spin on it. And the spin was specifically to cover up the identity of this guy here, right? Now this guy, he's a retired airman, right? And I don't know, in my opinion, the AES has superiority. One of the factors has to be the air superiority, right? And now they send this guy, a retired, right, a perfect person to carry out any type of operation that might require denial at the end, right? But this guy here, he's caught, right? He was caught. He was recruiting politicians, right? He was recruiting politicians and army officials, high-ranking officials, and he got them, right? But they were just caught before the operation was launched, right? And the media is completely silenced, right? But anything terrible happens over there, you'll hear it, right? First Post, all of these big news outlets, they'll talk about it because that's their attitude, or rather the attitude they want their people to have or the world to believe. But here we are. What is a Frenchman doing in the AES in Africa? Recruiting politicians to topple the government. And are you telling me that this guy went over there without the backing? And this is not the first person, or persons rather, right? A few months ago, a release was, I don't know, what do we call it? Mediated by the Moroccans, right? Is that what they are? Moroccans? I don't know, right? But the Kingdom of Morocco, right? That's what it is, right? And two of their spies were released, right? Of course, with compensation, right? Now this guy comes up here and you're telling me that this guy came here to protect the interests, his own interests. Is that what it is? No, he's here to protect the jellyfish in the reactor Macron. Anyway. Now the operation is taking a new shape, right? A Jewish man now has input. Right? This is what happens, brothers and sisters. This is what happens. When they see a crack, they make it a rift or a valley, if you prefer. Okay? So one language, one voice, and that is we have our interests as melanated people and we want them to be considered and protected, full stop, regardless of location and whatnot. This is incredible, came out of China, and my advice is to record, spread, improve, do it over again. Like we need to have a system right, of meticulously documenting these procedures, and then a mechanism to propagate to all the friends, and of course to also improve the procedure. All right. So anyway, let me not go on for long. Prince Easy signing out. Love you. Bye.